Hello. So I just wanted to talk a little bit more about the kind of brain interface, or the brain, the digital twin that they have and how they use it, the things that they do, the things that they use it for, and the way that they use it against you. This is it's like weaponized against you, and it's so, people call gang stalking no-touch torture, but a lot of people kind of don't go into details about it, and a lot of people say, it's spiritual, and, there's there's something to be said for that. I don't dismiss anything. I don't dismiss anything anyone says. Privately, I have my own thoughts, my own feelings about it. I don't go around try to piss on other people's bonfires and tell them that they're wrong, because who the fuck am I? And what do I know better than anyone else? I can only kind of draw my own conclusions based on the experiences that I have. But I know that, people do call gang stalking no-touch torture, and that's absolutely accurate description of it, because of the way that they kind of interface, the way that they have your brain connected to a digital version of you, a computer version of you, or I don't know whether they wear VR headsets. I've no idea how it works. I'm not very technical. I can't tell you that. But they definitely have a version of you that is on a computer system or something like that. And they're using it against you, so they're implanting these thoughts. It's like, unhealthy coping mechanisms. They want you to use unhealthy things so that other people around you can blame you for making these own decisions that you've made. Apparently, you made them. You destroyed your own health. You destroyed your own life. But it's constant in your head. I'll wake up in the morning and I'll get a constant feeling of, you should just go and buy some shit to eat. You should just do that. You should just go and buy loads of food. Go and buy loads of food, and you're feeling like shit anyway. You might as well just sit in and eat loads of food. Don't go for your walk today. Don't do that. Just stay in, buy loads of food, and just fucking eat it all. Binge eat. That'll make you feel better. It doesn't make me feel better. But it's a constant thought. It's constant, and when I say constant, I mean 24 hours a day. It's in my dreams. It's in every single waking moment, and that's this system. It's constantly telling my brain, you want to do this, you want to do that. These people don't want you to follow healthy patterns. They don't want you to use healthy coping mechanisms. They hate the fact that if you go out and exercise like I do every single day, and go out and walk every day, they hate that. So not only do they put these thoughts in my head like, don't go for a walk, they'll also use the weapons that they have that are connected to me, to my DNA, to nanotechnology, or whatever it is that you want to use to explain it. It's very much directed towards me. If it's frequency, if it's microwave technology, I've no idea, or whether it's just done using this digital twin and pinpointing pain to certain places, without the need for any kind of weapons, so to speak. But they'll target my hips and my knees to try and make me not want to go for walks, because they know it's the way that I kind of de-stress, the way that I kind of I take what they're doing to me and I just walk it off, and then I try and eat a reasonably healthy diet. So they're constantly feeding these thoughts in because they don't want you to cope in healthy ways. They don't want you to take care of yourself. The thoughts about, they'll constantly put people smoking not only cigarettes but weed around me. They'll constantly put alcohol around me, not just they'll put bottles around me. The people in the house that I live in will leave bottles of alcohol about, but they'll put the smell of alcohol. It's very much total kind of sensory attacks, using all your senses, and this is a constant thing, to keep you down, because they don't want you to be uplifted. They don't want you to remember. That's why they stole your memories. That's why they implant hurtful memories, but they won't implant hurtful memories or memories that are traumatic to you, that involve the torture that they've carried out. I've remembered some things from my childhood, and I don't think they expected me to remember it. And that's why they try and keep you in a trauma state, constantly looping traumas again and again in your environment. Anything that you feel embarrassed or ashamed about or guilty about, they'll constantly loop that in your environment. That'll be part of your street theatre. They will use your technology against you. They'll send you adverts. They'll get other people to post videos about things that they've tried to make you feel like you've done, or things that you feel guilty about. Things that you feel shame surrounding, these false memories that they've implanted, or these false in my case, these false videos that they showed me of things that I hadn't done, but they had versions, they had, they edited it in such a way that I'd done these horrific things that I hadn't, so they'll constantly replay this in my environment and in my kind of online life, I turn off adverts for YouTube. It's not meant to recommend me videos, but they just go in and switch the settings, or they'll get people who I'm subscribed to use certain words and post certain videos, to have a kind of detrimental effect on me, to keep me in a trauma state. It's just constant, They can't have you out of a trauma state or making healthy decisions or using healthy coping mechanisms to try and work through your life, because they don't want you remembering the things that they've done to you. They don't want you remembering what they've done to you as a child. They don't want you remembering or recognising what it is that they continue to do to you in life. And people all around you as well, some people say, oh, these people are fully aware of what they do. And I do buy that to a certain extent, but I honestly think some people are sleepwalking their way through life and they're being used, they're being totally mind manipulated using this technology. And some of them, you can see it in their eyes, they're fucking glazed out, they don't know what they're doing. The example is that guy on the bus. I don't think that old cunt knew what he was doing. I think something was in his brain telling him, go and sit next to her. And it's just like I said in another video, it's like, check the time. It's that split second thought that just enters your head, and you think it's your own thought. And you really, really need to know yourself. You really, really, and it's difficult because this is constant, this system, this computer system, this AI that's running it. They've got you hooked up to this all the time, so it's really difficult to recognise your own thoughts. But you need to spend time offline, to put your computer away, go outside, ground yourself, walk in the fresh air. Although they're still attached to you when you're outside, it really lessens the effect, but put the technology down, read a book, sit in silence, go and sit somewhere in silence, just thinking, trying to really decode and recognise your own thoughts. That's the only way that you're going to kind of get any, that's the only way. I don't think they can control me fully, and they have tried to in the past. They've tried to get me doing things, and I've come to my senses and realised, I really don't want to be doing that. The rational part of me would not be doing that, and that's what they do, it's so they can use things that they've tried to get you to do to kind of blackmail you in the future. I mean, that's how the police use this technology, and the military and the police, that's how they use it, to create criminals. That's what they want to do, but it's their kind of criminal minds that are behind it. They're masterminding it, but they're implanting these thoughts, and it's really, I know it's difficult to get your head around that people are putting things in your head, that people have control of your brain, but it's absolutely accurate. And you really need to get comfortable with sitting with yourself and sitting in silence and kind of shutting the world out to really see this. I get it quite a lot. I read quite a lot, so I'm reading a book and I'll recognise that these thoughts are being implanted into my brain because I wouldn't be thinking them while I was reading the book, and it's really taking away my kind of online life. I need to do that at times to really recognise what it is that they're doing and the effect that they're having, because it's really difficult for them to do it if you're not engaged in constant scrolling or constantly being online. If you're doing something else like knitting or I don't know, whatever the fuck you want to do, crafting or whatever it is, it's much easier when you're not online to recognise then what it is that they're doing, and I would say it's imperative for everyone that's experienced this to really get in tune with your own thoughts, and what are your own thoughts and what aren't your own thoughts. What thoughts are being implanted, what actions are you taking that they're just automatic actions, you're not even thinking about them because they're manipulating those actions. So yeah, that's my advice. Like I know anything. Like I know fucking anything. Anyway, that's all I've got to say. So take care. God bless. God bless you all. Lots of love. Bye bye.